the Rebecca Bois theory, but since I came up with this theory, I'd like to call it the Bois theory, so it sounds more obnoxious. Anyway, I thought of this theory after watching the episode Cobbler, which is the second episode in the second season of Better Call Saul, if you didn't notice by the title of the video. So if you're not a fan of spoilers, I'd advise clicking off for now, maybe subscribing so you can come back after you've watched the episode. I'll wait a few seconds for you guys. Still waiting, guys. Okay, those of you who are still sitting here and ready to listen because either you've watched the episode or you're okay with spoilers, let's get started. So if you've watched the episode Cobbler, you remember that it starts off with Chuck playing the piano. A beautiful piece, by the way, by the name of Sicilienne by Gabrielle Fer, if I'm saying that correctly. I have no idea. But as far as I know, the music is not what's significant. It's the slight aging of the paper and the name of the woman on the paper. The name Rebecca Bois, which is what the theory is based on. I think this person was Chuck McGill's wife at some point, and then she left him. And Chuck put the blame internally on Jimmy. And I'm assuming that this, let's simplify it and call it his allergy to electricity or whatever, was partially because of this divorce. The highlight of this would probably be Chuck, out of his anger and jealousy of Jimmy, would fire Kim Wexler from HHM, placing the first tile in what would most likely be the leading up to the character that would be Saul Goodman, the criminal lawyer that Jimmy McGill becomes. Now you guys might be saying, this theory is so random, there is no factual base in it. Well, I've found a couple things that you might find interesting. So, a question you might be asking is, why do you say this person's Chuck's wife? It could be his mother for all we know. Well, I have some evidence to back that up. So, the first thing would be, is the camera focuses on the name Rebecca Bois, and you see Chuck gingerly rub his fingers on it as if he's feeling some sort of sense of loss. And right after that happens, the camera angle changes. To a normal person, that's not a big deal. It happens all the time. But to me, I see that and I say, oh my god, look what else they're showing. In the frame, they show a table with a handful of family pictures, and that sits in my head, and I realize that that must mean that Rebecca is somehow a family member, and I really think that this family member is Chuck's wife. So of course you probably still have questions, and one of the main questions you most likely have is, why does this have to do anything with Jimmy? And to that, I'll say a wonderful question. What a wonderful question. That was weird. And I have an answer to it. So, while Chuck was playing the piano, Howard Hamlin came to the door to make personal delivery of all of Chuck's food and the ice he needs. So while Chuck is standing in the kitchen, Hamlin is dumping the ice into the cooler he has, and he tells Chuck about the fact that Jimmy is now a lawyer at the law firm Davis and Maine, and obviously Chuck is taken aback. And once Hamlin tells Chuck that Jimmy's on the partner track, Chuck is literally on fire inside. Not literally, I'm just saying literally because, yeah, and I'm gonna shut up. Now, we watch Chuck go back to the piano bench after Hamlin leaves. And we see him turn on his metronome and start looking at the notes on the note sheet, the sheet music, and we see him look back at the metronome, and he looks at the metronome very angrily and uneasily until the scene ends. Now, that again could mean absolutely nothing, but I look at it and I'm like, there must be something there. So, a metronome is used for musicians while they're practicing to keep up to the rhythm, to mark their rhythm. Now, I think the metronome is referring to Chuck's life stability. So, when Chuck is looking at the metronome, he's realizing he's unhappy, he's uneasy, that Jimmy's happiness somehow is not happy for him. When Jimmy was having a terrible time and he had his office in the nail salon, Chuck was reasonably happy because Jimmy was not a big lawyer and Jimmy took care of him when he was in the house mostly. Chuck left the house once or twice in the second season, probably once, I don't completely remember, but in the end, what this woman leaving Chuck, I think will lead to bigger things happening in the rest of the series. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, that would be wonderful. Now, please share this if you'd like, but make sure you give credit, and thank you for watching.